Hey everyone, my name is NinjaDerpify and welcome to Risk of Rain. So this is an action platformer roguelike, all mixed into one, and is actually quite a lot of fun in its early development stages. So let's go ahead and click on Start a Game. And we can see that we've got two different characters at the moment, and there's lots of seats actually in this spacecraft or whatever it is that seems to be landing on this planet. We've got the Commando, which is characterized by long range and mobility. His tactical dive obviously allows him to survive longer because he can basically dodge attacks and move quite quickly in one motion. He's also got rapid fire and things like that. So he uses a gun and he does ranged attacks, and he tries to basically get out of the way of being hurt. And we've also got the miner. So the miner has short range, but he also has a lot of dashes as well. So in order to survive, you basically have to balance the dashes and the jump to avoid the enemy fire as well. And that crush also does a lot of damage, so that is really a really strong melee attack. So we're going to go ahead and just choose the miner for now. I will show you the commander very shortly. We can see we spawned in to I believe it's a randomly generated area here, and shortly enemies will actually spawn in. There we go. And basically, if you don't know what a roguelike is essentially characterized by a lot of randomization. Randomization in characters, randomization in the levels, and randomization in basically the monsters as well, I believe. And also the permanent death feature in some games. So that's basically what a roguelike is. You're going to be running around, whether it's turn-based or action. It's basically, I think that's sort of not a real big important thing with roguelikes nowadays, because a lot of roguelikes are actually becoming action orientated, and they're really starting to turn into a really awesome genre of its own. We can say this one is obviously an action roguelike, and we can see that I've got my Z, X, C, and V hotkeys for all of my abilities. We can see Z will actually do this swing with my pick, so I can do a melee attack with 120% damage. Then I can use my second ability to actually dash through and do damage to anyone that I pass through. Then we've got a blast back to actually get some distance between me and the enemies. We can see these jellyfish coming in here. I think these guys are just actually melee. They don't actually have any sort of ranged attack, so we can sort of go ahead and essentially just breeze through them, and we won't really have that much trouble with them. We will take some damage because I believe just passing through them does do a little bit of some electricity damage, as we can hear. You can see I've leveled up and collecting these coins. Don't actually know what that does. I think that might be actually experience, that little blue bar down the bottom there. Now if we sort of jump down here, we can see, oh, this is a very dangerous area for us to be. We've got these flaming little ball things, and if we just dash through them, we can actually escape them, because if we come here, we can actually have a free attack. Now, I guess this will hopefully be fixed in one of the future updates to this game, because it is in development. And this rock golem that I killed is a very strong monster. You can die very easily from those guys if you do not actually dodge them. So let's go up here and actually play the game how it should be actually played. Now my last ability is actually a jump up and essentially fire down on the enemies. Now you can see right about now I'm getting very overwhelmed. I'm below half health. So if we take a second to just sit back, see, these jellyfish things are really actually kind of difficult to avoid, because moving through them actually, if I use that dashing attack, I'm immune to the attacks that they do to me. So this is definitely a very fast paced, with lots of different abilities. Well, there's only 4 abilities, but they definitely change how the whole entire game works, because that is generally what abilities try and do. And yeah, so you've got your obvious striking one. That's obviously not going to work by itself, because you're just going to get zapped down to hell. So doing the dash is definitely going to be a great way to get through. We've got some of these guys spawning in now. So if we do the last ability, we can do quite a lot of damage to all of those guys, whilst actually avoiding any damage being done to us. So these jellyfish are actually going to continue to beckon us to actually fight them. We go ahead and try and just keep on dashing through them. But there are cooldowns on your abilities, as you can see, so you aren't going to be able to just simply spam. Well, what is that red guy? I have never seen that before. He's on fire. He must be some sort of elite mob or monster. So if we can get a big attack on him to actually, yeah, so we're getting very low on health. This game is quite difficult, especially when the numbers of enemies starts to rise. And I would say the miner probably is a more difficult, yeah, you'll have a more difficult time with the miner as opposed to the commando, simply because you have basically a lot more opportunities to actually get damage. And we can see, even jumping, trying to get over those jellyfish, you are going to get zapped regardless of how well you try and jump. So it really is a fast-paced, sort of twitchy sort of platformer that you have going on here, with, of course, the roguelike elements of permanent death. So once you die, that is basically it for your character. You have to start again on a new world and stuff like that. We can see there's a actual monument here, and with the money that I collect, I can chance of rewards. So I'm actually gonna die if I don't try and, oh, see, that's me dead. That is actually how you die. It says you got smashed by those guys. So we didn't unlock anything, because I assume that's a work in progress, or I simply just wasn't good enough to unlock anything. We can go try again. Actually, we want to go and try back to the main menu, and we want to start a game with the Commando. So this guy's going to be a more ranged attack. He's got a basic attack that simply shoots his gun. Then he has basically a knockback shoot, and then he also has the roll, which is going to allow him to be a lot more mobile. So with the money that you collect, you can summon imps holding a reward. So I assume the imps, you'll probably have to still kill them. As you can see, the standard attack has a bit of a knockback, and generally when you're talking of one monster, you're really not going to have too much of a problem defeating him. It's pretty much when a lot of things start spawning, and you can't basically knock them all back with your single shot. So you have to sort of start dodging everywhere, you have to start rolling everywhere, and see, we're going to take a bit of damage there, but we'll do a big knockback with some nice damage there. And if we actually just roll straight through that jellyfish, we are actually immune during that roll. So it's a really nice dodging mechanic there. So we are leveling up, and I'm not sure what leveling up gets you at the moment, but again, this is heavily in development, so you know, there could be a lot of really great stuff. I'd love to see items. We do have enough money to actually purchase that reward if we actually head up back to the top here. So we can basically roll through, and then we can actually, that was I actually just misclicked. I was actually meant to click the knockback attack, but I actually just clicked something that was on cooldown, which was terribly unfortunate, but that's the way that it goes. If you don't click the right buttons, you're actually going to get hurt. So if we press A to summon imps holding a reward, now these little imps, 5 out of 5 alive, so we actually have to kill the imps to get our reward. Now they're actually running away from me, so this is kind of a cool thing. You do get your reward if you are good enough to actually stop them from actually running away. Now I assume they would stay on the map and they wouldn't actually despawn, but I do not know. So we're going to go ahead and finish that guy off, collect all of this money, and the experience just comes from the enemies. So we've got a rock golem here. I don't think he can climb down areas at the moment, but he can actually attack from up there. So I guess the smartest thing here would be, it's actually a very, see, I took 31 damage from one hit of the golem. So he's a very difficult enemy, and being in a situation like this where he can't move, it's difficult to actually get past him, apart from a roll basically. But again, that's not going to work out too perfectly. You've got these elevator things which jump you up. I guess I can try and fight one of these blazing balls, because that shouldn't be too difficult if I just time it correctly and don't actually jump up when he is... See, I keep on doing it now, but if you were much better skilled, you could actually... Oh, that just wasted that. So let's actually get some damage. Oh, I totally forgot my ultimate was actually... Well, it's not an ultimate, but it's basically your fourth attack is a bit stronger than the others. I don't even know what this guy is. I'm just going to move my mouse for a second and get that out of the way. I don't know what this thing is, so let's go ahead and jump down and actually fight it. But it's actually a shooting monster, so it's doing about as much damage as the rock golem. But it is, again, a ranged enemy. Now this is going really, really badly, so I'm going to try and jump down here and get these jellyfish just by themselves. There's a lot of freedom in how you actually attack the enemies, so you're not going to be basically forced to attack, except for certain situations like the where the rock golem was earlier. The only way that I could progress was to get through him and actually just defeat. So I guess Leveling up probably gives me more damage, and it probably gives me more health as well. There is some fall damage in the game as well, but it's not too much of a worry. So we can offer a chance of reward, and we actually got, don't actually know what that was. It might have been some health, it might have been some experience, I'm not too sure. So we're going to Commando roll away, and then keep using our attacks to actually defeat that guy. We're going to use the rapid fire attack to try and take some damage off those guys. It's not actually going to work very well, and if I Commando roll, I can get straight past that golem up there. But now this is going to be a tricky situation, because the only way for me to get up there and not take damage, or I basically did take damage, so that wasn't exactly the best display of anything. Let's go ahead and do some crazy attacks. There is a hell of a lot of jellyfish, so I assume the more time that you take trying to clear out... I don't even know if it's clearing out the level, because I've never cleared out a level. It is, at the moment, I haven't played this enough, and I'm not good enough at the game to actually clear out the level. So we're going to go rapid fire. That's not going to push him back, but we can actually push him back with one of our abilities. The thing is, once these jellyfish start coming here, it's like a very gigantic, big problem that is a lot more difficult to deal with, as opposed to simply the golem by itself. And if you forget your hotkeys, you're actually not going to do very well as you'd expect. I'm going to pick up some of this cash and actually hit that rapid fire. And forget the buttons again. We do slowly regenerate health, but it is, again, very slowly. It's not like you can just wait 10 seconds and you'll be back at full health. In fact, you basically don't really realize that you're actually getting the health back, because you basically take damage so many times if you are not dodging. So that is Risk of Rain. It is an action roguelike platformer. It is a really nice thing, and I'm definitely going to be looking ahead in development and seeing what is happening, and I'll definitely show you guys if some really nice stuff happens with items and the customizability of the player characters and stuff like that. So we can see I went to level 5, I did 5 minutes 20. I guess it's a bit of a survival game at the moment. There are bosses, there are items, and there's also gold that you can collect and make high scores. So this could be a really great game. And we can see that I was killed by a jellyfish, because jellyfish are evil and they zap you and they hurt you and they poison you and they do stuff like that. So my name is NinjaDerpify. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can get this game in a link down below. It is free to play at the moment. I'm not sure what the plans are for the full release. It might stay free. Again, I really don't know, but thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video.